So yeah, as most of you will hopefully know and already being well introduced by Ginger, this is the Equal Power, Equal Voice Mentoring Scheme, supported by the Women's Equality Network Wales, Stonewall Wales, Disability Wales, and the Ethnic Minority Youth Support Team Wales, or EAST for short in that case. So I'm going to run through this, and as you'll see throughout, there are some graphics with testimonies from past mentees, which I encourage you all to have a little read over it as we go through. We're going to run through what is the project about, who are we looking to apply for the project, why you should apply for the project, what we actually include in the mentoring scheme, and then just some of the formal parts about how you actually apply towards the end. So what is the scheme? It's funded by the Lottery Community Fund and the Welsh Government. It's an intersectional mentorship scheme, as I've mentioned, when Wales representing women in Wales, EAST representing BAME people in Wales, Disability Wales, disabled people in Wales, and Stonewall representing the LGBT plus community. The aim is to increase representation within public life in Wales, be that either through elected office, through becoming school governors, through standing to be on different boards, appointed to different boards such as charities or public appointments, and similar ways like that. And you'll see through the testimonies that it has been successful in that as we go through, and through some of the previous mentees who are here. The programme runs from November this year until June next year, with meetings throughout that time. So who do we actually want to apply? There is no upper age limit. That's the key thing to specify to start with, but you have to be 18 to join the scheme and living in Wales. You have to self-identify as one of the four characteristics that we've discussed already, or any combination of these, and you will get the opportunity to pick which organisations you would like to work with out of the four that are involved. You also have to have a clear interest in public life in Wales and increasing your impact in that. That doesn't mean you have to stand for elected office, but it does mean you should want to be more involved in public policy and public life in Wales, be that through elected office or through things such as becoming school governors or standing for boards, as we've mentioned. So I'll leave Kinga with this slide as she has requested.
Oh, hi, sorry, it's me. Yeah, I would just say again, one of the aims of the program, we recognize there are many different corners that you can occupy in public life and to have an impact on it's all about getting a more diverse pool of decision makers working in Wales so that we basically get better decisions made here in Wales. But it is about people who just want to campaign for social change or who are social activists, as well as people who want to sort of get involved on the political side. But we do in the program try to make sure to give you sort of an overview of the different routes that that do exist, and where those different points of decision-making power do exist in Wales that you might have an influence on, and how to reach those spots and how to influence those people in those spots. So why apply? Well, I hope that explanation I just gave you might be one good reason, but what we're expecting is we're looking for increased confidence. That's increased confidence in your own capacity to make change, finding your own voice, increased confidence in your skills and knowledge. It is also increased knowledge about how decisions get made in Wales and how to influence those decisions. Increased understanding about the different levels of government and where different powers of government lie. Increased knowledge of important policy matters in Wales. We do a lot on communication, public communication skills, some practical media training skills even. The mentoring bit is very, very important. We do have an excellent, fantastic pool of mentors in real senior positions that we match people up with. And we try to match people with mentors based on, a common interest really is the main thing we try to match people with mentors on, but there's a lot that plays into the that decision. I can talk about that a little bit later if you want. And it's also about increasing your networks, widening and deepening your networks. And I'm going to pass back to Sean now.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, of course, I should have mentioned the actual activist side of things as well, being another key aim of the program. And I think this quote sums up quite nicely, where someone, doors have opened that I thought would never be opened. They've made more friends across the political spectrum, and those networks is something that they've really highlighted as being key. Something you can really gain from this is the contacts and connections that you make through the program. So it's what you get, and we've touched on a bit of this already, but you get a one-to-one mentoring scheme with highly influential people, training in the different sorts of sessions that Ginger touched on around public communication, how to be an activist, how to apply to be on a board, how to apply to stand for political office with different political parties, plus things like trips to the Houses of Parliament, and, as I said, the peer support network, where previous mentees really do support each other, and I'm sure the people who have been mentees will testify to that when they have their chance to speak. I just wanted to highlight to them the picture on the side at this point. Obviously, the media training that Ginger mentioned, you've got Fliss Evans, who's BBC's chief political correspondent and was involved in delivering a session with previous mentees for East. And there you have a previous East mentee with the leader of Cardiff Council. So it does sort of show the sort of political figures that get involved, as well as those from the more wider Welsh public life and the sort of training and skills they help deliver. What you need to commit to get the most out of the programme is to one meeting with your mentor for 1 hour every 4 to 6 weeks. And there's a couple of different ways that will be done, be it via phone, in person, COVID allowing, of course, or by a video call. Mandatory online training events. You're looking at about 6 hours per month running over the course of the year. So it is a bit of a time commitment, but that is how we deliver the training that we've talked about to help give you those skills. Plus, there'll be more opportunities to participate in networking events and other skill sessions that are optional, but will be available to give you some more of those skills and tools to play that more full role in public life in whichever way you see fit. This was just one from the previous WEN mentees. And I know there's quite a lot of text on the screen, so I think this was going to be popped in the chat for you to have a proper read over in your own time. Firstly, I wanted to talk about the diversity section on here, because obviously in the past this has been run by WEN and East, but the whole point of this program is to increase diversity. So you can see here that it's not the first time that disabled people, people from the LGBT plus Q plus community have been involved in the scheme. So you do have those elements of diversity going through there. Similarly, but with all of these groups, you've seen on the right there, really high success rates in terms of what people got out of the program and how satisfied they were with taking part. And just some stats here about how much people felt they benefited, where you can sort of see 75% increase in people who understood the roles and responsibilities of standing to be on a public board. And a 56% increase, which I think this is a really key stat, in people who felt that they had the skills necessary to influence decisions that affect them. And that's really a big part of this. The whole point is to increase that representation in public life in Wales through the various avenues we've talked about, and make sure that those people feel confident enough and feel tooled up enough to actually do that and be effective in those roles. Similarly, we have some previous quotes from East mentees.
Okay, I will just, sorry, Shan, I'll wrap this up really quickly. I know that Yasmin is just entered, and I know she only has a little bit of time. So I won't read the entire quotes out for you right there, but I will just say that East had like equally positive results on our evaluations. Before the end of the day today, I'll pop you a link to one of the East evaluations, the second to most recent East the evaluation of rounds 1 and 2 of the East programs. And you can have a read through those if you want to. But we've gotten very positive results and kind of the achievements of both East and WEN mentees. I can say, I think WEN had 7 mentees who stood for regional, who stood for the Senedd elections or were selected to stand. Sahar Al-Faifi, who's the top picture here, she's an East previous mentee that was selected to stand, I think, for Clyde in the Central South Wales regional elections. But a lot of people who have gone on to get selected to be local councillors, but as well, people have gone on to get positions on public boards, including the Arts Council of Wales, Sports Wales, and also becoming trustees of charities, because that's a really important stepping stone, and it's a really big way to have an impact on, your community around you. I will save that. We can answer so many more questions about previous mentee achievements and the impact of the program later, but I really want to, if we could stop sharing the screen, please. Excellent. I'm going to introduce you now to Zara. And is there any way, have we figured out, is there a way to spotlight Zara as she speaks? Oh, sorry, Yasmin. It's Yasmin Zara, and I'm doing that. I've done it since she was a mentee for the first time because there was a Zara in the group previous to her. So sincere apologies, Yasmin. It's never going to change. So Yasmin Zara, she was a mentee in our second cohort, and she's just done fabulous things. She's been a fabulous person to know over the past few years. So without further ado, I'm just going to pass you on to her. And Yasmin has given us permission to keep recording while she's speaking. So I'm going to stop the recording after Yasmin finishes speaking. All right, go for it.
Thank you, Ginger. Don't worry about my name. Everybody gets it wrong. So hi, everybody. As Ginger said, my name is Yasmin. I was a mentee with East. Oh gosh, a couple of years ago now. Time flies when COVID is in the middle of it all. But it was an incredible experience. So a tiny bit about me. I'd never been involved in any kind of public life activity, political activity. I grew up in poverty. I'm mixed race, so I'm half Welsh, half Iraqi. And due to geography and wars in other countries, I've never got to know half of my family. So all of this was sort of swirling around me, and it's very hard to get involved in public life or to think that you're worth anything when you have the rest of the world seemingly telling you that you're not worth anything. So I received information about the program through work because I was working with Citizens Advice at the time. And at the time, I didn't really have any kind of goals for myself apart from wanting to change the status quo that we were in. I wanted people to be able to change their situations for the better. So I wrote in and I said, look, I really would like some help spreading sort of educational awareness about what methods are available to teach young people and disenfranchised people how to get involved more in their public life, but I don't know what to do. I don't know how to do that, and if even I can do it. I think it was Ginger who said, yes, come, apply. And it was the best decision, it was the best gamble on life that I've made, because through the program I was introduced to Susie Davis, who was my mentor. We appeared on paper to be on sort of different sides of the political spectrum, but we sat down and was it within 5 minutes that we realized we had so much in common, so much to talk about, and she was as dedicated to equality and changing things for women, for minority backgrounds as I was. And she opened up this world to me, the political world or the public life world. I was absolutely blown away, and she invited me to, listen to committee meetings because she was on the Constitutional Affairs Committee, and I got to watch. And I was sitting there watching her do all of her thing, being the incredible woman that she was or is. And at the end of it, she looked up into the stands that I was in and just waved. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is a moment for me. And I realized just how much I wanted to be part of that. And gradually all of the barriers that I'd seen around myself sort of started to fall away in front of me with a lot of hard work, but I started to see ways through. And I had Ginger there guiding me through, it's Susie guiding me through, and all of this stuff suddenly becomes possible. And I'm now working for a politician of my own. So I'm working for Luke Fletcher MS, so I'm his regional liaison, a community liaison even. I'm very active within a political party. So I'm a treasurer for the BME section in Plaid Cymru. I have given a number of talks about the challenges that people in poverty face in conferences and so forth. I've taken steps with my own business in the social enterprise space, and none of it would have been possible if I hadn't had the chance to embark on this program, meet Susie and meet all of these other wonderful people who I count some now lifelong friends in there as well.